Hey, future freelancer, here's the tea. I have fired almost all clients I have worked with.
It's not you, it's me.
Only one has actually ever let me go. Firing doesn't have to be a bad thing, okay? Oftentimes, I would fire clients simply because I wanted to work on a new project and was bored of the current client.
I'm bored.
That's actually the perk of being a freelancer. You get to choose who you want to work for, how long, when, and all that other fun stuff. So I quit a lot of businesses because I noticed I would just get bored 6 months after doing business with them, sometimes shorter, and 99% of them took it well. It's all about how you break the news to them. You don't want to hit them with the "we need to talk" type of text that we all hate.
We need to talk now.
So instead, I play it cool until my next meeting with the client. For context, I usually meet with each of my clients once a week to go over performance and projects I'm working on. Now, if you don't have recurring meetings with your client, then go ahead and get one scheduled, telling them it's just to discuss the project so far and checking in. Then, at the end of the meeting, or closer to the end, I'll start to bring up the bad news. Here's an example. Hey guys, I know we've been working together for X months now, and it's been great. I really hope you feel the same way. I wanted to take some time in this meeting today to tell you face-to-face, or at least over Zoom, that I'd like to end our contract. I'd like our contract to end around X date. Then I'm going to insert why I'm ending the contract. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding why I'm ending the contract and next steps. That's a great example. And here's the thing. You actually don't have to tell them why unless you want to. I don't typically tell clients it's because I'm bored, because that would look bad.
Makes me sound like an asshole.
So oftentimes I say something else. I might say that I just want to work less hours and take a break. Keep in mind the timing too of when you're going to tell them. Per the contracts video, you probably have a 14-day out clause for both of you. So you could tell them 14 days before you want to end the contract. That being said, I typically give my clients a month's heads up. It's really up to you. And the thing is, if you've done a good job on the project, the client will typically be sad as opposed to angry, believe it or not, because they like you and they want to keep you on. Sometimes I've even had clients ask me right there on the spot, what will it take to keep me? And they gonna offer you more money, should you want to take the money. But that's not what I want to do, so typically I don't take it. But it's up to you if you want to go down that path. The last step in firing a client is to send this in writing via email after the meeting is done. You want to have these types of things in writing as proof of record for when you gave them the notice, and also of when your end date's going to be. And that's it, actually. Really. There's a lot of anxiety around this situation, but it's definitely going to happen in your freelance business. Most clients you work for have had contractors or even employees quit in the past. So this isn't their first time, getting fired. It's going to feel like a much bigger deal to you than it is to them. I remember my first time trying to fire my first client. I was freaking out because I was like, oh my God, they're going to hate me. They couldn't care less.
I don't care.
Okay, so if you're already in that state of freaking yourself out and you're like, oh my God, I can't fire them, but I hate them, just fire them. You don't have to tell them the reason why or that it's that you might hate them, okay? Now that you know kind of the how of fire a client, let's also talk about when you should fire a client. Oftentimes, we stick with clients we hate because we want the money. But the problem is, this leads to burnout, stress, overwhelm, and then you're eventually going to want to stop freelancing because you're going to feel like you're working all the time, even if you're not, because you're stressed out and you hate your clients.
Oh, I felt that.
Don't do this. The majority of freelancers do, and I've even done it, so this is the pot calling the kettle black here, but don't do this. And it's going to be easier said than done, because you're probably still going to do it at least once, even though we're telling you not to. You're only human. We tend to do this because we have this fear of losing the income, as if you're not going to be able to replace it with a new client. You can combat this fear by already having a new client in place to replace the one that you're quitting. Or more importantly, you can work on your mindset. I know it's such an abstract, woo-woo kind of thing to say, but it's true. A lot of us have a poor mindset towards money, but we are so scared to lose it, so we hold so tight to these clients. And that's the reality of being in this business. Money will fluctuate, both good 20K months and bad, like 2K months each month. That's the price to pay for being self-employed. And once you'll learn to accept that, you'll be more comfortable with the ebbs and flows of quitting clients and signing on new ones. So now that you know you're already going to be hesitant to do it, what should you look out for? If you're noticing a lot of scope creep and you've already brought it up to the client, that's a red flag. They're trying to work you more than you originally agreed to without paying you more. So now you're working more hours for less pay. This is not what you signed up for. And this is brought up at least 2 to 3 times and nothing changes with this client, fire them. Here's another situation. If you're noticing the client is needing a faster response time, they're demanding you to slack during off hours, or they're constantly wanting quick turnaround, this is a huge red flag. This can happen if the business normally hires full-time employees and not freelancers. Full-time employees have the expectation to respond fast and get things done quickly, but not freelancers. We do respond, of course, and we definitely get things done, but they aren't the only business we work for. We have multiple clients at once, and clients usually respect that and understand that you're not going to respond right away. And you should have gotten an idea of if they were like this during your prospecting call. But if you bring up the expectations and set boundaries with clients and they're still being demanding, fire them.
You are fired.
Here's another situation. You could be like me, where you simply just get bored of the project. That's it. That's a valid reason to quit. Hell, any reason is a valid reason to quit if you want to. It's your business. Do whatever you want. Here's another situation. You realize that you can't get them the results they originally hired you for. This is a painful one, and I've had this happen. Let's say you were hired to do some copywriting services for them to improve the conversion rate of their landing pages. And then you tried out 50 other variations and the conversion rate still sucks. Once you feel like you've given it everything you've got and the client still isn't getting results, you should fire them and be honest with them and tell them that you maybe aren't the right freelancer for their needs right now. And it can be hard to say that, and it's putting you in a vulnerable position. And speaking from experience, they're okay with that. They're going to respect that you're looking out for their business as opposed to trying to make a profit off of them. There are some other situations where you're going to want to fire a client, of course, but these are the main reasons that I've personally come across. To recap, remember to tell the client as soon as possible to give them time to plan. Tell them on video and then send it later in writing. And be willing to quit and take the loss of income for your own well-being. Your mental health matters more than a couple extra $1,000 or however much they're paying you. You can always replace it and be a hell of a lot happier too. Your next step is just to review the script on how to quit a client for when the time comes in the sheet.
But I broke up with him.
You broke up with him?